Love, etc., a show that covers all aspects of life, relationships, and success. And I'm your host, Anna Elton, licensed marriage and family therapist. And we're here to talk about life, music, motherhood, and much more. We have a special guest, Renee Marcou. She is a recording artist, a podcast host, founder of number one life coach certification program, Mind, Body, Spirit, and Harmony, and she performed on stage with crowds over 60,000 people, and she helped many others. So, welcome, Renee. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here and connect with your audience.
Well, before we start, I want to make it something fun, something different, something I haven't tried before. So we're gonna do Q&A.
Fun.
And are you ready for this?
Oh, yes.
Icebreakers, okay?
Love it.
So you're a singer.
Yes.
But can you tell us about your first concert you ever went to?
Yes, and this one's actually a funny one. I was in middle school and I went with a bunch of girlfriends. One of their moms took us, and it was Cash Money Rough Riders. Totally hip hop, totally rap. We were loving it, just dancing the entire time. And from there, it was just, what concert can I go to next? But that was the original.
That's awesome. So from that experience, what did you learn? Is it something like where you went to the concert and said, "That's it, I want to be them, whoever is on stage, I want to be on that stage, I want to perform," or you feel like you had that passion for music way before you went to that concert?
I had the passion for music way before. I used to have my teddy bear in one hand, my brush in one hand when I'm probably 6 years old, looking in the mirror in my bedroom, performing for my teddy bears. Like, these are stories my mom, my aunties told me growing up. And I remember I always loved music. It was so healing for me. It was such an outlet, still is. And just being around musicians so young and then growing up in that scene and just being able to go to concerts. I used to perform for my third grade class, and I was a really shy girl back then. And I used to sing with my girlfriends, like, for the class. So it started long before that concert in middle school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay. So next one. And we can hear your baby in the background, so we just want to let the audience know that Renee is a mom as well. So
Yes.
bear with us.
Thank
So
you.
one thing you always need before you go on stage or when you teach.
Before I go on stage, I always need a nice tea with lemon and honey. That's been my go-to forever. It just is a nice little warm up drink for me, and it, like, soothes me. It soothes me on the inside. I could brew a tea right now and just, like, even become more relaxed. So that's my go-to for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So how about next one? So
Okay.
what would your younger self think of your life that you're living today? Would your younger self love the
Mm.
life? Would your younger self expected the life?
Yeah, I think my younger self would have loved the life that I'm living, but it would have been very different than my younger self would have projected for my future.
So what did you think when you were younger? What did you
When I saw myself as this, like, famous musician traveling the world, performing every single night. By the time I'm, 50, I'm retired. And now I made so many different choices throughout my music career to not have that be my future. So I think my younger self would have stepped into that more and probably dealt with a lot more than what I chose to, being in my young 20s, making choices that I did around my music career.
Well, traveling, performing every night sounds exhausting.
Yeah, exactly right. I
I
was
mean, I feel
very
like
ambitious.
it sounds great
Yeah,
as an idea, right? But in reality, is
yeah,
it something sustainable, right?
right,
When we're 20,
exactly.
we want to go out every night. When we're 30, we're kind of like, sometimes
Yeah,
when you hit 40, they're kind of like, okay, once in a while.
yeah, right, exactly.
Okay, so next one. One word that describes this chapter of your life.
Hmm. Surprising.
And why is that?
Surprising. There's a lot of things I've learned about myself being a mother, and this is the chapter I'm truly embracing with every single cell of me. Um, a lot of things that are fearful that are coming to the surface that I used to think about when I was a little girl, and things that I forgot about in my teens and 20s, that are resurfacing. And then also giving myself the credit for what I have gone through, some really hard times, especially after getting pregnant, and just some of the things that have unfolded in this new chapter. So surprising, like, sums it all up for me.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank
So since
you.
we're talking about babies and motherhood,
Yeah,
can you share a little bit more, kind of like what happened? What did you learn from this?
yeah, totally.
Um, how is your life right now as mom?
Yes. Oh, I just love being a mother. I can't believe I waited this long to be a mom. He was such and is such a blessing into my life. He has made me feel so much more purposeful than I ever had felt in my life, and that's also a surprise for me because I was always very purposeful in my career, in my relationships, in my friendships and family relationships as well. And I always love to show up for other people. That's why I'm a coach. And I'm sure we'll get into that in the future during this session today. But I definitely have with motherhood has come this whole new way that I know how to prioritize different parts of me now. I know how valuable my time is, how valuable my energy is. So, as much as I'm still very much expanded and in alignment with my truth for what I do in my career and how I serve others, my core has become smaller. My core interactions, relationships, things that I do with my son always come first. And I love it that way. And I think there's probably so many mothers out there who can relate and maybe are trying to find, like, well, how can I do it? Where's the balance? Where can I find, you know, more time for me? That's one thing that I definitely want to talk about today when we talk more about the advice and stuff, like how to really find more time for self. That's been a challenge. So yeah, I would love to dive in on that in a little while, but definitely motherhood's been amazing.
Absolutely. So, what I was thinking, right? So,
Yeah.
becoming mom, you have this idea, picture in mind, right?
Hmm.
Baby will be this beautiful. I will take some photos for Instagram, for Facebook, for other social media,
Hmm.
right? But what do you think was not something that you expected, right? What
Mm.
did you learn from this experience? What is something
Yeah.
surprising?
Yeah.
And again, if anyone's watching and they're about to become a mom or want to be a mom, what
Yeah.
is something we can share?
Thank you. That's a big question for me because it's very much huge parts of my story that are very sacred to me. I am willing to share because I think someone out there may need something that I can share. I really do believe that I go through things in life that are hard and challenging so that I can come out of it and then show other people how they can do the same thing too. So I was 10 weeks pregnant with my baby. I didn't know he was a boy at the time, but his biological father decided to leave us. And I was absolutely shattered for so many reasons. The main reason that really, really hurt me was what it was going to do to my son. Um, I had so much that I had to break down and pick up and rebuild. And the foundation just underneath me of everything that I thought was going to be my journey in motherhood and to motherhood was literally ripped from underneath me. And it was a huge surprise. It surprised my family. At this point, I didn't even tell many people about the pregnancy because it was so early. We were going to be doing this great big share and all these things. And then that really started a journey to really look within and start to say, okay, well, I need to feel all the feels, go through the heartbreak, understand what's happening and why it's really truly in my best interest that this all just literally crumbled before my eyes and for the best interest of my child. And going through that hardship and going through the tools that got me out of the place of really dark moments. And I know I'm not the first woman that that's ever happened to. I'm the first woman that I know personally that's ever happened to. So I was really looking for a mentor, looking for somebody to help me through this, looking for that. And I had some really amazing people in my corner. No one that I knew personally, they were professional, but we were able to move through things, move up through the hard stuff. I sold my house for the equity so I could support my son. I moved back to my home town area to be closer to my family and loved ones. And I really had to rebuild myself at a time where I envisioned that I never would have ever had to do that.
So a lot of unexpected, right?
Very much so.
But you're
Yes.
able to handle it, right? And you're doing fine. You're doing great. You're doing
Yeah.
better than ever at this point.
Yes. Yeah. And there there were definitely hard days that led me to be able to break that part of my heart open to really dive into what's more important to me now.
And again, you can't do it by yourself, right?
Right.
Who's your support system?
I needed my village. um, I have such amazing family members. I have, oops, careful, Bubba. I have my neighbors. My mom is my 100% go-to. She is my absolute solid rock. We have such an awesome relationship. It's more than mother and daughter. We're very close friends. My aunties, they all have my back. Being in a place that felt familiar to me was feeling good. So I really went back to the tribe. I went back to what was familiar to me and came back to my home state during my pregnancy so that I could be surrounded with my family. That has been really helpful and being a part of his life and helping me because mamas need the help too.
That's amazing. So your baby, how old is your baby now?
He's 16 months.
16 months. That's amazing.
It's wild. Yeah.
They're wild. They're busy at
Yeah.
this age, right?
Yes.
Everywhere.
Yes. Everywhere.
So, what is your favorite memory, like story so far with your baby?
Oh my gosh. I'd have to say when he called me mama for the first time, that was after I had just lost my auntie a couple months ago, and she was such a solid rock in my life as well. Another person in my tribe. And it was the night that she passed away that he said it to me for the first time. And he said, Mama, 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 kept looking in my eyes. And I just knew that she was behind it all, that she was like spiritually, giving me this gift that I really couldn't wait to have.
It's so beautiful.
Thank
But
you.
again, just remember, I'm a mom of three kids, three boys, right?
Yes.
They're 6, 9, and 12.
Amazing.
Well, guess what? They say mom, 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 mom. First mama sounds amazing, right? But then
Yeah.
yours after like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it,
Yes.
but it's you never get
Yes.
old.
Right. But it's forever, and you're always going to hear that sound. And yes.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
as we're talking about motherhood, so let's move into your coaching business, right?
Yeah.
How did those started? Like, how did you come up with the idea? What do you
Yeah.
usually teach clients? And then what type of clients usually come to you?
Yeah. So I actually started my coaching journey when I was 18, right as I was stepping into the music industry. Well, I was in the industry for a few years prior. I came across the book called The Secret from another auntie of mine gave it to me before I was moving to LA. And this book changed my life because it really, and this is like almost 20 years ago. So it's so crazy to even think that this is my life back then. But like it really kicked open the door to spirituality. It kicked open the door for empowerment for me and also for knowing that I actually do have control over my life. I grew up very afraid of the world. I grew up thinking if I walk outside the door, maybe a rock's going to hit my head. Like just like things that I'm sure other people who are listening can relate, possibly, but just like there was always like that fear walking behind me. I knew for sure that I was protected and loved by God, the universe, goddess, all that is, the creator, however anyone relates to that. But I just learned about the secret and I learned all of these tools and these laws, these principles. that really I sum up as manifestation. Um, and I just loved knowing it. And it was like, oh my goodness, I'm putting this to the test. I did one thing after the next, manifesting, bing, 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 homes in Hawaii, manifesting my new apartment, manifesting relationships in my business, manifesting new clients, manifesting my dog, like just all of these really cool experiences that I was able to feel like I took control over my life over to be able to bring these things into my life that my heart desired. I started a nonprofit. I used to think you had to be absolutely loaded to have a nonprofit, and I started one when I was in my 20s. Like there was just all these different things that I worked with the universal laws in order to attain in my life. And I was so amped up and so hyped up about it that I just wanted to scream it from the rooftop. I was like, if I have this information, I want everybody else in the world to have this information. It was kind of still a secret back then. When I would tell people, I ended up going to a course for 2 years to become a life coach. And I just started telling people, like, oh, I'm a life coach. And I don't know what that is. And people were like, what does that even mean? This is how long ago it was when I really stepped into that. And so I said, listen, I have more time on my hands being a musician. I have more time on my hands. I want to bring this business into fruition. And so I did. Since I was 21, I've been a certified coach and I've been coaching people literally all over the world. And one thing for me that I love so much about it is it really brings up the mirror for people to realize that it's okay to put yourself first and it's actually really necessary. And I I know we're talking to a large audience, but for the people who feel kind of guilty about doing that, I always say this, like you really can't pour from an empty cup. If you want to be able to pour and into people's lives and really give them, and I know you know this, Anna, but like give them from your heart and the that you can from your spirit or your soul and just provide this service that you know is going to be life changing for them. Like you got to do the work too. And so that has been literally such a blessing. I tend to work with more females now. I have a program I started in 2020 where I was passing the torch to other, at this time, men and women who wanted to become life coaches. Because I said, I've done so much in my career. I've worked so much with so many amazing souls, and my niche had changed over the years. And I wanted to be able to pass that torch to other people so they not only can make the impact that they've come here to make and really help people on a deep level, but also have a business that like rocks their world, that they're waking up so excited to get into, that they're so excited to promote and stand behind because they believe in it so much. They believe that they have a recipe for somebody's mess, for somebody's situation that they want to get out of, or just implement more good into their life. So that's what I teach now is, and it was 2020, of course, when we all know what was going on in the world at the point. And so many people were losing their careers and wanting to give something else a try. And it just literally came through me. It was like, oh my gosh, like this is my time to certify people. And so that's the program that I offer now, 5 years later.
Amazing. So
Thank you.
just to give us a little peek into the program, right? So
Yeah.
think of like how can you fill your cup, right? And another thing
Mm,
I'm thinking like emotional fullness, right? This
hmm.
term is means that like you can only take on so many emotions,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And then you can only help when you're full and fulfilled, right? When you fly in
Hmm.
an airplane, right? And then when there's
Hmm.
emergency, even if you have a child next to you, they always say put your mask on first. You
Yes.
need to help yourself first. And I'm always
Yeah.
thinking like this is insane. If I have my child next to me, why would
Yeah.
I help myself first before I help my child?
Right.
But again, this is where like, going back to the whole idea of emotional coordinates. If your cup is empty, there's nothing to give, right? If there's
Exactly.
no
Yeah.
emotions that you can afford at this point, there's nothing you can do. So
Yeah.
you need to calm yourself, self-regulate, fill
Yeah.
your cup, and then you can help others, right? You can
Yeah.
co-regulate with your child, your partner, and so on. So
Definitely.
what do you do to fill your cup?
That's such a beautiful question. I have this spiritual toolbox that it's not really, I don't really have a toolbox at my house with these
Mhm.
tools, but it's my spiritual toolbox really where I say, okay, what's in here today that I need to bring into my life in order to be my best self, in order to show up as the best version of me that I'm able to be today. And so some of my tools, some are going to be familiar to people. Meditation, I'll go to that one often because it brings me into my body. And then it also allows my mind to be free, to really do what it's meant to do, which is create. It allows me to shut off the fears or the ego or the parts of me that are can sometimes try to take control and then things don't pan out, right? So I'm not saying the ego and fear don't have a place, they do. But for those moments in meditation, I can really just hone in. It really helps me align to my spirituality and what I believe in. And it helps me really get clear on what it is that I want to experience for the rest of the day. So I'll use a process called segment intending. And it's created by Abraham Hicks, if that's familiar to anybody. Uh, Amazing, by the way. But the experience is to go through your segment with clear intentions on what it is that you want to have experienced throughout the day. And so I'll do that. And now all of these tools are so ingrained in me. The wisdom that I've learned over these years is so ingrained in me into the tiniest cells of that make me who I am, the energy who I am. And it's just so routine that I don't feel like I'm doing it. And before when I started, I used to have to talk myself into doing it. I had to like trick my mind into thinking I can do stuff when I really didn't believe I could at the time. But I kept pushing forwarder, right? It's like you keep going to the gym if you want to build those arms, right? Or you keep doing yoga if you want to be more flexible. It's like sometimes I think there's a part of our mind that says no because it feels uncomfortable or the result doesn't come within a minute, right? I think that's so interesting now where like we do get results so quickly from a cell phone, from a Google search, from a going on someone's Instagram and understanding who they are as a person in the world. Like there's so many instantaneous things. But I will say when we're working with manifestation, you have to have this level of trust and surrender that you believe in whatever it is that it is for you. Let's say we'll call it the creator. You have to believe that they're on your side, that that part of you, that larger part of you, that connected part of you is on your side and is moving things into place in the most perfect order, with the most perfect time, with the most perfect people. And then you have to have that trust that when this is all happening and when you're manifesting and when you're getting clear in your segments throughout the day, that you can hand it over and you can say, I trust that that's going to unfold this or something better. That's also a statement I will use all the time for what I ask for now when I'm getting clear on manifestation. It's this or something better. And I know it in my heart that it is. It's a perfect example of what I went through with my son's father and that whole experience. I wanted this, but I got something better. And for being able to surrender to that, to trust knowing that there's another source guiding me the whole time that was better than what I was asking for. So it's just that's definitely a tool that like you can use for big manifestations, big dreams, and something that you can use for daily activities, daily things too.
It's so interesting. I feel like
Yeah.
it's really connected to saying like everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
know the reason yet, but
Hmm.
at some point we'll realize like why it happened and what we
Yeah.
take away from that.
Definitely.
And
Yes.
when you think of like the really bad experiences in your life,
Hmm.
sometimes you can learn something from this. Sometimes this is just the path you have to take for
Yeah.
some reason that you're not know at this point.
Right.
But everything will work out because it always does.
It always does. It always works out for your best. I truly believe that.
So, so what I was thinking about the manifestation, right? So we always say like we want to have this manifestation, we want to, attract, the success, the happiness, and
Hmm.
everything that we want, right? But
Hmm.
you mentioned one thing, right? You mentioned clear intentions. You
Yes.
need to come with clear intentions. So I'm connecting this to setting goals, right? Your clear intentions is like setting goals.
Hmm. Yes.
So how do you have the clear intentions? How do you set the goals?
So, I'm getting the so I absolutely love writing. I'm an author at heart. I'm going to be writing a book soon. I just know it. But I love to write things down because it's the beginning of the manifestation process. It's the beginning of making things physical, making things not just only up here in your mind, but bringing it down into reality, into the world that you're living in. And so I love to write out what it is that in that moment my heart is desiring. So is it in the next hour I'm hoping to get a call from the bank that they approved a business loan, right? Like that would maybe be somebody's manifestation and wanting it to manifest by the end of the day because the bank, said they would, right? It could be something like that. It could be something where you're leaning into a bigger dream. This is the house I want to manifest. I want to manifest this person living here, this type of yard, these animals in the backyard. It's such a big manifestation, really comes so small, but it comes so big too. Um, but when I say clear intentions, I do mean something similar to goal setting where you know what it is that you desire. Because what I believe is that if you, let's say the universe, the creator, is your provider, and you're saying, hey, universe, hey, creator, I really want to manifest this business loan. Um, but, if I don't manifest a business loan, I guess it's fine. But yeah, actually, I'll probably never put in my application. So I don't know, but I really do want the loan. And you're kind of all over the place. Like the universe can't hit a moving target. So when you're clear in your intent and you're clear in what it is that you desire and you step into already having that thing, let's call it, of what it is that you desire, whether it's emotion, feeling, person, partner, all of the rest, you kind of get into this laser focus mode, which really does relate to goals because goals, we don't set them because it's just like we think it's going to make us feel bad. Like we set goals because we think having or obtaining whatever it is going to make us feel good. So it's really, and I will say in that same sentence is when you are manifesting and having clear intentions and setting goals, really look in the mirror for what it is that you're asking for. There's been plenty of things that I've set out for that I was doing for other people, and it really wasn't my truth. And those are the things that I do encourage people because you want to define your life by what success means to you, by what having it all means to you, not by what you see on TV or the celebrity or the cousin or the uncle or whoever. It's like what's going to light you up because you are stuck with you at the end of the day, right? You're going to be the one laying your head to sleep and you're in your own head, right? So those are just some things I like to share for my kindred spirits out there who can relate.
That's so amazing. So,
Mm,
as I was listening to you, right,
yeah.
I can definitely relate to my therapy experience, right? So
Mm,
when clients come in and I ask them, so, what are some of the goals that you once had? Like, what is like happy means to you? What is
mm,
successful to you? I never assume what means for them,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
I always ask them to
I love.
clarify. And
Yes.
sometimes they don't even know what it is. And they said, I'm glad you asked. Let me think about it because
Yeah.
sometimes they have no idea. And I say, like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe if you can't answer right now, I'm not looking for answers. This is not for me. This is for you, right? But I
Right.
want you to think about
Yes.
like let's say miracle happens and you wake up and this is solution focused therapy, right? You wake up and you're happy, you're successful, wherever you want it to be. How would
Hmm.
it look? What
Mm.
would be different? What would change?
Love
What would
it.
one thing you will notice that morning, right? So that's
Yes.
important for you to think. If you're successful, how would they want to look like?
Hmm.
I look for certain, I guess, career choice. I looking for financial success. I looking to leave something behind you, some legacy, right? What does
Hmm.
it look
Yeah.
like? So, and
Beautiful. I love that.
what it's interesting, right? So we think about manifestation, right? We think about actually going after the goals. And what
Mm.
was really interesting with one of my clients, we talk about manifestation, right? And he said, hey, listen, I'm looking for this job, and he's been looking for a job for a while, right? And nothing came his way, and he was getting little bit discouraged, disappointed, and then he's like, I don't know, losing hope. But then, the next session he came and he said like, I feel really, really good. I actually got a couple of interviews coming. I feel really excited. And I said, so what was different? And he said, I spent some time on manifestation. Like I really tried to,
Wow.
envision how would it look like. I really put my focus in it. And what
Mm.
was really, really interesting, and I said, so what did you do next? And he said, well, I was envisioning that I'm going to get a job and what I need to do. And then I started applying to jobs.
Yes.
So in reality, it helped him with his motivation because when he was depressed, when he was upset that he was not getting promoted,
Right.
he stopped applying. He was
Yeah.
just so stuck in his ways that he just did nothing. He was frozen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when he said like, okay, fine, let me take a step back,
Yeah.
let me see what worked in the past, and again, for him it was that manifestation that helped him to bring up that motivation that
Yeah.
really force and energy to start applying, to feel excited about it, and
Yeah.
then start hearing back from people, which is really, really interesting. And then
Exactly.
he didn't realize because when I asked him, so you did that, what was next? And he said, I just sent out 20 applications. I was like, okay, good.
Yes. Well, it's amazing because you were able to ask him these powerful questions that had led into him finding his heart's desire and defining his success according to him, right? And then he was excited about doing those things. Like he was amped up going to put in the application because he had worked on the things himself and in himself. Like I always say, manifestation is really meant to be fun. It's meant to goal setting, same thing. It's meant to get you out of bed in the morning. My little one. Yeah, here he is. I'm just gonna nurse him for a minute.
Little guy.
Yeah, I love this. So it's
Well, it is what it is, right? This is the part of the motherhood.
this is real life.
This is real life.
Yeah,
We can't take pauses, right? We have kids to take
right.
care of, right? We have
Yes.
life to attend to, so that's what we have to do.
Yes. Thank you for being so understanding.
Absolutely. So as we're transitioning to the next part, right? We want to really know like how did it all started, right?
Mm,
You love music. Can you tell us about your first experiences? How did you become recording artist and how does it look like now and
yeah.
what's next for you?
Oh, yes, definitely. My love for music started very young. My parents told me that when I was born, I was born in a hospital and they put me in the nursery overnight and they would play soft, peaceful music and I'd be screaming, crying. But once they put on rock music, as my parents had suggested, um, I quieted down. Like rock music was where I started my journey as a musician. And of course, I fell in love with all the different pop artists growing up and wanted to recreate all those fun dance moves that they were doing, right? And I used to also write a lot. Like, I think I was born to be a writer. And so I would write my own songs as a kid. And some of them became poems for a project in school. Some of them became songs that literally were manifested as music that people can hear tonight. It's just the whole journey really was so beautiful. Had a lot of heartbreak in the industry, but I also had so many cool experiences. Um, I still am with my music life. Now it looks a lot different, but I loved so much going into a recording studio and writing. I loved listening to or creating with the producer music that didn't even exist yet. You know, I had sounds or piano chords that we would start and being able to write and bring the songs to life were really cool. A lot of it was already true in my life, and a lot of it were things that ended up manifesting as stories in my life soon after. So sorry. Here we go. It's bedtime for him, so he's needing
Well,
mommy.
we're almost done, little guy. Just take it for a few moments. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes.
Maybe a bath or something to cool him down. Thank you. It's a family affair tonight. So he can relax.
Thank you being here with us, and
yes.
thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Let me ask you a couple more things, and we're gonna wrap up so you can take care of your baby. So when it all started, right?
Yeah.
What was something that you say like that was my best experience in my career as a musician?
I loved the moment walking out in Gillette Stadium on the field when every single seat was filled, hallways were filled, professional football players who were like 10 times my size were just all there. I love that experience so much. I was singing the national anthem and I did this many times, but I love so much being a part of such high vibrational energy. I love that feeling of, wow, I'm here for something really cool. I loved that for these 3 minutes of the song, me singing it, that everybody was going to be hearing my voice and feeling the love that I have, and really connecting with those people. There were actually people who I didn't know were in the stands that sent me videos saying, "I just watched you tonight's video," and they were from all different parts of the stadium. It was so cool. And I think after performing that and really feeling into the lyrics and really connecting with people for, our national anthem, after that, just feeling this applause, just like felt this like amazing rumbling through my body. Like it was like this vibration, like I said, I've performed for many other large audiences before and after those experiences. But that one really stands out for me. When I started walking, just getting that huge applause, right? You can just imagine how loud it is. When I started walking back to the green room, and then I had a bunch of guests with me, makeup artists, photographers, all the things, right? You know, all that. And it was just such an awesome experience and one that, I think I'll have in my heart forever.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
How about challenges? What are some of the challenges you had to overcome?
Yeah, I trusted a lot of people. I wore my heart on my sleeve. There's definitely a lot of snakes, I guess is the word, or people who have negative intent, who saw me as a dreamer. They saw me and they, probably put a price tag on me. Some people that I worked with throughout the years all started off great and then, revealed their true colors later on. Like I was saying, I did have a lot of heartbreak in the industry, which is probably why I changed course after so long. And though I don't wish bad upon anybody, because I am grateful for the experiences, those are the hardest points for me because I really did, trust and love with my full heart. And sometimes that was taken advantage of.
Well, that's unfortunate, right? But I feel like it happens to a lot of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let me ask you, so what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in the next year, 5 years, 10 years?
Gorgeous. I definitely see my son being involved with all aspects of my life. I'd love to open a nonprofit for animals that my son and I can work on together. That might be a project for 10 years out. I really do get so excited to see my coaching clients raise up in their life. I love supporting moms on such a deep, soulful level. Even I love helping women start their own business. Like I literally feel like I'm here to bring light to people, to remind them of their truth and really just help people live their most happiest life because I feel truly blessed that I've been able to have mine. And I think that everybody deserves that if they're willing to give themselves that chance. So I see that all manifesting. I'm not sure what it looks like quite yet, but especially through my program, I really love helping people go work through the program that I offer. And that's basically where the first place to start with me for what I have available for people today.
That's awesome. So how about music? Do you feel like music is still part of your life?
100%. Yeah, I'm still writing all the time. I'm performing at my friends' gigs. Um, I could definitely see myself possibly starting up a band in the next 5 years, where I will be on stage singing, playing, dancing, doing all the fun stuff. But I think it looks a bit different now than it did, when I was pre-mamahood, right? I don't think I wanna do those 11 p.m. shows, like, maybe give me a 6 o'clock show. I was doing a lot of that actually in 2020 when I was living in Florida for 3 years, and it was the intimate connections via small gigs were actually super fun, and I really enjoyed them. I didn't have to have all the hair and makeup team, though I love all the people I've ever worked with, but I could just show up and be me and just sing and let my voice do the rest, Just let the voice do what it's meant to do and play guitar with my guitarist and enjoy the process and enjoy the show.
It's so interesting. So
Yeah.
what I was thinking, when we're younger, right, we have this dream, right? We want to
Mhm.
be someone special
Yeah.
one day, right? And when I was a child, when people would ask me what I want to do, I said I either want to be a doctor or fashion designer.
Wow.
Well, I'm finishing my PhD, so I will be a doctor in like a month or two. So
Oh
it's
my
I'm
gosh.
almost done. And fashion
Congrats.
designer, I guess I can be fashionable doctor, right?
Yes.
Take from that dream,
Love
right?
it. Yes.
Happen. So that's why I was thinking you wanted to be a singer, right? Like, so how can you connect your past, your present, and future?
Mm. It's all personally for me, it's all through my voice. Whether it's going to be writing songs for another artist, whether it's going to be writing books, series, and helping people empower themselves, or I'm back on stage. I know for certain that my purpose here is through my voice.
I love
And
it.
congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing that you're about to become a doctor. Wow.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't think I would go for it, but here I am, right?
Here you are.
You never know.
Exactly. Yes, very true. And it's okay to change course throughout your life too.
I mean, I was fine to be a therapist, but then, I
Yeah.
felt like I needed a PhD, so here
There
I
you,
am.
there you go. So you followed your heart. That's beautiful.
So what I always tell my clients, what feels the joy of now when you dwell on the past and you worry about the future. So
Mm,
focus on now,
I love
right?
that.
Stay
Yeah.
present, stay
Mm,
happy
yes.
every single day.
Yes.
So before we start wrapping up, can you give us one piece of advice? And also, where can we find you if people want to sign up for your coaching services, if they want to
Mm.
listen to your music, if they want to see your journey as mom, what,
Oh, thank
where
you.
can they go?
So my website, that's my personal name, has all of the links to all the things that I offer. So I'm going to send everybody to my website, which is my name, reneemarcou.com. That's ReneeMarcou.com. And you can find all the goods there that I offer. If it's not on the site, it will point you to one of them. I'm an Instagram lover. I am private right now, but I do accept people if they request. And my Instagram handle is the CEO Goddess. I talk manifestation on there more than anything else, as well as motherhood, especially because I'm crazy about it and I'm obsessed with being a mom. And yeah, let's see. Yeah, those would be those would be the links. Did you ask me one other question before then?
Yes. So
Oh,
before
what was
we
that again?
wrap up, what would be one piece of advice?
The piece of
What
advice.
do you
Okay.
want our viewers to take away from today's session, from tonight, I guess I'm calling session, right? Show.
Yeah.
I'm still in my therapy mode.
Yeah.
But something they can try tonight, tomorrow, something that can be helpful for them.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many things I want to say. But from my heart center, really allowing yourself to go for your big dream, allowing yourself to pivot in life when you need to, and not get down on yourself, not stay stuck in the past or stay stuck in negative patterns that aren't going to benefit you in the future and now. One of my favorite things to do when I start to feel out of sorts or out of alignment is really breathing and becoming present. Come back into your body. Your breath is so powerful, and we take it for granted because it's so easy and it's just natural. But when we really can focus in on the inhale, the exhale, we get into that space of flow again. We're in nature again. We flow with nature. Nature doesn't strain to grow. We're not meant to strain to grow either. And we just have to retrain this beautiful mind into believing that we can do it, believing that we have given ourselves permission to go for it, trying things, trying new things, not trying things if you want to just be comfortable for a minute. That's also very, very okay too. I know I need my comfort moments, especially becoming a mom and doing all the things, right? All the unknowns. But coming back to me and giving myself permission to pivot when I need to, breathing in those moments, finding self love, finding self care, giving yourself what you really truly need, shutting down the phone for a while,
Like
reconnecting
it's a
with
tough one,
nature.
right?
Yes, yes. But
Don't take
when you
away from
do
my
it, it's,
happiness.
yeah. And I get that too. But sometimes when we do it, we get to just be more aware in our surroundings. Go for a hike in nature, go play with some animals at a farm, love on your family a little bit more. I mean, there's so many beautiful ways to reconnect to self love and to amp it up if you're already there. So, tuning within. I'll leave it with that.
Well, I'll add one more piece
Okay,
before we
awesome.
wrap up. So, what I usually tell my clients, right? When you start to spiral down, right? When things are not going well, you need to stable yourself, right? You need to
Hmm.
get back to that I guess, ground level. So what do you need to do? You need to remind yourself what's going well, right? And again, usually it's easier to access that if you know ahead of time, right? What am I
Mm,
grateful for? What's going well, right? There's
yeah,
always something that's going well, right? You can
always.
say, like, if everything is out of the control, you need to find one stability point, right? And you can
Yeah.
say, like, I'm grateful for having a beautiful baby boy, right? I'm grateful for being here tonight, right? I'm grateful for
Mm,
being healthy, because sometimes it's really hard to find those points of gratitude and stability, right? But in
hmm.
reality, there's so much more like that we can be grateful for.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
just,
I love
think of
that.
like what are like, and again, it could be the homework, right? For our viewers.
Yes,
Before you go to bed,
yes.
name three things that you're grateful for that are stable in your life right now.
Mm, that's beautiful. I'm gonna do that homework, so thank you.
Awesome. I always do homework to my clients.
I love
And
it.
homework is
Yes,
not for
me
me,
too.
homework is for you, right?
It is. Yes. I call them the CEO assignments.
I love that. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for being here with us.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
again for joining, sharing your beautiful story, showing
Thank
your beautiful baby boy. He was part of the show. And what was
you.
his name?
Truxton.
And I like that. So,
Thank you. Thank you so
and I
much.
hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you for watching
Thank
us.
you.
And we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Thank
Thank
you.
you.